Now we are live. Good morning and welcome to the AutoHub show. Just got back from NADA and we're going to start with an NADA interview, what we call ambush interviews, right after our sponsor reel. Here we go.
So where is Jeff today?
He's right down there. He's just...
I know he's down there. Where he belongs.
He's taking his wife to the dentist. That's what I
AutoHub show with Ian and Jeff.
Here we go.
Who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Hi, I'm Gail Rubenstein, the founder and CEO of a company called Retail Resilient, social selling for the car industry. And we help auto dealers, auto agencies, and vendors in the auto industry sell more cars, service more cars, and make more money using our social selling strategy. That includes TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and anything else you can think of. So if you're looking to invest thousands and make millions, we're definitely the social selling company for you. Like I said, who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
I was at Larry Tolman's seminar. So happy I came. Having such a good time. Thank you so much, Larry.
One of the best trainers in this area for sure. I don't know about anywhere else, but as far as I know, he's the best. So, told you to get a state advantage. Thank you, guys.
I'm at Larry Feldman's seminar, and what I found is that what he's really good at doing with his knowledge and with his training, he's not filling a bucket, he's lighting a fire.
Ways to improve. Every month we want to improve better on what we did the month before, maybe the year before. It's about how fast we can get the cars done with quality work to get it to the front line, because that's where we make our money. And the bottom line is the longer it takes, the more money we spend. We want to get it down as low as possible. Right now, like I said, we're in a great state. We're 4.5 days. In recon, we want to know how quickly we can get the cars out of the recon process and to the front line. The average days in recon and then the time to line and the most important thing for the look. I'm Mike Burrell, I'm Service Director of Dan Lexus.
This is Ian.
And this is Jeff with some cool swag at Podium. Hi.
And we're here from the AutoHub show at NADA in Las Vegas, Nevada. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Chase Cornett. I've been with Podium here for about 2.5 years. Before that, though, my professional career was on the OEM side of auto sales. Sold cars at F&I, sales management, ran BBC centers, and I was actually recruited to Podium to help sell into automotive. So Podium, we're a texting solution. We do everything by helping get dealerships more reviews online to help bolster their reputation. We have a text-based web chat tool that's been ranked #1 in show the last 2 years at NADA. Text marketing campaigns and things like text to pay and things like that. So customers these days, everyone's texting, so we want to help meet dealerships where the customers are at in terms of communication.
That's great. So obviously you're in the dealership side and the franchise dealers, and obviously it's an independent show. So what's your advice to that independent dealer like Jeff who sells and maybe wants tools? Like what would be in for them? Like why should they look at Podium?
Yeah, I mean the model is scalable if you're an OEM dealer or if you're just a corner used car dealer trying to sell 15 to 20 cars. The idea is today's consumer, if they're going to be looking for a dealership, more often than not, they're going to be typing into a Google search, use best used car dealer near me, right? The #1 indicator that's going to show up in those searches is going to be your reviews. And quite often, more often than not, dealers are not asking their customers to leave them reviews. It's always the Karens of the world, the people who have negative experiences who go out of their way to leave a review for a business. Yet there's probably a lion's share of good experiences out there that aren't leaving reviews because we're not asking or we're not simplifying the process enough. So Podium, we help solve that problem by sending out a text message to every customer after the point of transaction, taking them straight into their Google login page, and within a couple clicks they can leave a review.
Fantastic. That was a lot. Wow. Janice.
Well, it's a big challenge for a small dealer because, how do you compete with the big boys? And of course, these days it's, I love the comment here, NIADA, too many letters, is the fact that an independent can be everything from a corner used car lot. We met a young couple we just interviewed that started with $3,000 and 2 cars and built it into something, 30, 40 cars a month. And you could be somebody small like that. You can be, used car corp with like 17 stores. Speaking of the devils, there they are. But you can be with 17 stores and 7,000 cars in inventory, but we're fiercely independent. Come see us. Now, so for an independent dealer, what's in it for them, for you? Cost-wise, obviously performance we can see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we have different packages based off of the size of the dealership, how many users they have, and it's anywhere from $249 a month all the way up to a couple thousand, just depending on how many of their tools they're utilizing, right? One thing that you said that really kind of jumped off the page at me, at these used dealerships, like so many of these owners are wearing so many different hats, right? They're not just the GM, they're the salesperson, they're also working on the service side, getting things frontline ready. They're also trying to do online reputation marketing. When the big boys, you have one person at that shop that is their marketing coordinator, or one person who's in charge of reputation. So with our tool, the simplicity of it, it does so much of that work for them so that these dealers can actually have that same capability as the big boys, but it doesn't overwhelm them, right? Because they already have so many other things that they're doing.
Well, we talked to somebody earlier.
And that's all for today. If you want to watch the whole video, it's on our YouTube channel. It is a little long, but I thought it was pertinent just because we came back from NIADA. And just in case you didn't know, Jeff Polo is an independent dealer himself. Alrighty, so let's get into it. So let's start with our disclaimer. Maybe Jeff can go over it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to start with the books. So there's been a lot of talk about artificial intelligence as of late, both from a government point of view and a software point of view. So I thought it made sense to talk about books around AI. So Chatbots and You, Artificial Intelligence Chatbot, and Chatbot. So those are the 3 that I came up with. Jeff, maybe you can talk a little bit about our disclaimer.
Yes, well, hello everybody. Sorry for taking the time to log in. I had to update my Zoom. It didn't tell me that until I'm sitting here clicking everything. The other thing is, I don't know if you noticed, but the authors of all of those books were ChatGPT. Just kidding. Our disclaimer is, of course, that the views and opinions today shared by that of our guests, they're not necessarily that of the AutoHub show or Ian Endicott or Jeff Polo. And for details, check it out on our website or read a little bit here, but we're going to cut it off just like the credits on a movie.
No problem. So we have hours of footage from the show. I'm busy trying to edit those. I did some on the weekend, but to give you a couple different ones to watch, obviously it's Feldman the Car Dealer, which I was already recommending. It's in the chat if you want to check it out. Jeff and his action foes with Sugar Ray Leonard. We have a video and audio of that. The audio is a little better than the video, but it was a live event. CuringKidsCancer.org, really touching story about the car business giving back to kids who suffer with cancer. Actually, one of the ladies, her youngest, died from cancer, and she's been raising money for treatments that saved lives. And the other gentleman there is a car dealer who sells classic cars, who's also a survivor of throat cancer. My wife is a survivor of breast cancer, so it's a cause that's very important to me. And then, of course, our panel discussion with VinQ and others, where we talked about buying centers. Definitely watch that. It was really interesting. Lots of different points of view. And then let's get into the show. We're talking about chatbots today. Here we go. So go ahead, Jeff.
Well, let's get started. It's a long lead-in today, but it was quite the week, and very humbling. I have to tell you, very, very humbling. I'm a little bit of a judgmental person, and I have been through a lot of things, and I'll look at somebody and I'll predetermine certain things, which at NADA I probably shouldn't have, because I met one of the nicest people I've met in the business, and I was really kind of mean in my head to them beforehand, which I will fully admit. And then at this show, when you realize all these great things you do, you work hard, you do great things, and you think you're good, and then you meet a lady that raised $26 million for kids cancer for this one specific drug that she couldn't get for her son, which would have saved her son. And very touching. And then that fellow that you thought, of course, you got Sugar Ray Leonard, who's had adversity all his life. Well, you know what? He fought back from it. And then this other dealer, Luke, I can never pronounce his last name.
Lukenheimer.
Sure, you can read that. You gotta read that, because then you just humble. Nevertheless, thank you all for joining us. 15 minutes, 10 minutes into the show, and we haven't got there yet. Well, we have some great guests here today. Very excited. Hey, Jason, how are you? Long time no see.
I'm doing great. Great to have me.
Good. Well, you see, you're on the first corner of my screen here. So even though Carol's sitting there with her little bumblebees behind her, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, your connection to today's topic, and please answer this first question. What's the current state of the chatbot industry from a dealer perspective? Excellent, good, average, or it sucks, and why?
There we go. I like it. Let me. I'll call it. I'll throw it out there as poor, right? And I'll give you the why. So let me introduce myself real quick. Jason Barrie. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for DAS Technology. Recently rebranded, for many of you know, as Digital Airstrike. Been in the market for over 13 years. Working with car dealers, work with over 9,000 car dealerships. We're the largest, what we call the fun acronym out there, but we've been in the game for years of CBXP, the Customer Experience Play technology company. So it's an honor to be here. Appreciate the invite. I ranked it as a poor, and I'll give you an example. We recently did a market research study, a customer experience study, surveyed over 5,000 consumers, and 31% of those consumers said that the dealers never got them any pertinent information from their inquiries, including chat as a part of that. We're failing. As an industry, we're using capabilities, we're using technologies, and not maximizing the full capabilities of the market to deliver a better experience to consumers. The capabilities are in market today. There's phenomenal opportunities. It's not just about technology, but improve our processes as well. So love over the next half an hour or so we have here to dig in and talk about some solutions. And I know Active Engage, I know some other providers, Joel here as well. There's some amazing technologies and services that dealers can think about using, but think about their process and ownership of delivering a better experience. So,
terrific. Thank you very much. I think the DAS technology really means because it's DAS glue, right?
My grandfather would agree.
I don't know about the giant target right over the heart. I think that should be moved over to the other side, but that's a whole other topic. Carol, thank you so much for joining us again. Please introduce yourself. Answer this question about the state of the chatbot from the dealer perspective, and just because it's a very interesting thing. Everybody's got it. Everyone, because this lovely smiling face that pops up. Hi, I'm Penelope. How can I help you? So please answer if it's excellent, good, average, poor, terrible, why, but yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for having me back. I'm Carol Marshal, I'm the COO of Active Engage. We are the oldest messaging provider in the industry. We've been around for over 15 years. We have over 14,000 dealers leveraging our services today. We don't use chatbots at all. So all of that messaging is 100% human. 24 hours, 7 days a week. We do have automation, obviously, within our software, and I think that's an important distinction. I think that Jason makes a great point. Technology is wonderful, but we all have to be responsible of how we use it, and we choose to use it to aid our live agents. So who's coming into contact with those consumers are always the human touch, always empathetic and understanding. So I would give the chatbot industry a 5, a terrible. I would go more, I'm a little harsher than Jason. I'm a little more judgmental like you, Jeff. But they're chatbots, so you're allowed to be it, I think. We've actually onboarded a couple of dealers this month who were using a chatbot system. And what we've heard from them is they spent more time trying to help upset customers overcome the misinformation that was shared with them than they do selling cars. And based on some larger clients that we've onboarded that leveraged a service that initially had chatbots and then it eventually gets to human, we know that they were missing about 30 to 40% of opportunities they could have. So that's us.
Well, that's a very good point. I think you should like use chat bees because I love the bees. But, you know, it's also you're having a personal experience of this just coming back from NIADA, too many initials, like I said before, is with my airline, the same thing. I'm trying to get an explanation. And it's like, it keeps popping up with, could you please restate what you want? I am pissed off. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. But then again, please forgive me, but some live agents don't get that depending where their source from. And last we have of our guest today is our really good friend, my new buddy from Vegas, Joel Benson, who is the man, everything else behind Vidcalls, Vid this, Vid that. Joel, please pipe in and give us your opinion on these. Introduce yourself, tell us more, and of course, in the spirit of full transparency, he is a sponsor of the show, and we love him.
And a proud sponsor as well.
There we go.
Hi, everybody. I am Joel Benson. I cannot speak to the chatbots per se because I haven't used one. But okay,
No worries.
Technology is interesting. Dealers have a dilemma. When a car shopper goes to a website of the dealer and they want to reach the dealer, there's really only two choices the dealers give. A, here's our phone number, call us. Or B, click in the chat box and get whatever information that we can share with you. That's it. So there's a definite need for the chatbot industry. What we have done is one step different. We have designed a Vidcall system. It's like Zoom, it's like FaceTime. The only difference is all a car customer has to do, or any customer, because we do this in multiple industries, is click either on the dealer's website or on a digital ad. And within 15 seconds, they're meeting on a face-to-face video call for the car dealers, they're meeting with a car salesperson or a car service department within 15 seconds. And that's what Vidcall does. There's no identity sharing. We don't ask the customer for their name. Once they click on the website, there's no appointment setting. Everything is done in real time. So if at 5 minutes after 4, car customer wants to meet with a salesperson, they click on the dealer's ad or website, and again within seconds. So that's the product that we produce. But I'm really here to learn more about chat because there might be an opportunity that we can get involved on the chat side as well and partner.
So Joel, how would you rate your current chat experience, obviously with experience in multiple industries, how would you rate that currently with the bots? Like bring on the bots, what do you think from a dealer perspective or a customer perspective?
I can hope from my side as a consumer,
yep.
I have never, ever have I ever typed my name or contact identity information into a chatbot.
Oh,
ever.
Okay.
Nor would I ever fill out a survey form if they ask for our name and phone number so they'll call us back. That's just the way it is. So there's obstacles that need to be overcome. I'm sure that there's certain percentages of people that do use chat that are successful with it. So, and again, right now there's only been 2 ways to reach a dealer: chat or phone. Luckily, the calls will fit somewhere into the middle.
Rock and roll. Thanks for that. What percentage of customers
jump in there for one?
Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
So in the last couple of months, I did a deep dive of 3 OEMs, Toyota, BMW, and General Motors in Ontario, Canada, which accounts for, as Ian would probably agree, about 40% of the dealerships in Canada for those brands. In doing so, I did a deep dive into their digital platforms and found that 68% as an average over 32 metrics failed to meet peer averages. So when we look at chat, we look at their whole digital spectrum, they're failing. Everyone's failing to understand the importance of digital retailing. And with systems that all these people are graciously spending their time today on this call, they'll improve the experience, and it's all about the customer experience. It's not about who's got a better website or that. It's about what our customers are actually engaging with. My 2 cents.
Rock and roll. Thanks for that, Peter. So the next question is, what percentage of customers use chat and what percentage of customers don't use chat? So why don't we start with Carol, since she's in the people chat business. What do you think?
So I saw a study yesterday, 89% of US consumers prefer to chat or text versus the phone, versus using the phone. And if you think about in your own personal life, I'm blessed with 4 kids from 16 to 28. You know, what's their modus operandi? First, they're going to go to text, right? Versus a phone call. What's interesting is what we're seeing within that chat and text is even people who like to get on the phone and just go through the details and have a conversation, they'll chat in or they'll text in and say, hey, I want to know, is this still available? Does it have the blind spot monitoring? And I want to see a car cracks. Give me a call. So even the people that want to be on the phone, they don't want to call in and go through the phone tree or risk not being answered or getting that automated system. So I think the percentage is super, super high. And to think that you can have a website with all of this information, so you don't need that contact, that communication piece, is a huge mistake. With all the thousands and thousands of dollars that dealers spend on great websites, having their inventory uploaded, and then driving people to this site, and then measuring what drove people to the site with Google Analytics and the dashboards, but to miss the one singular thing that captures the shopper, which is that connection, that connectivity, whether it's on your homepage, your vehicle detail page, your service scheduling page, to leave out a communication piece with a human, whether that's someone in dealership or outside. It's just a lot of wasted effort, brain power, and money. Because that, we talk about the customer experience, you're exactly right. That's what you have to think about, putting yourself in the customer's shoes. Great, so, I see this vehicle, I have this question though, who can I talk to, right?
So I have another related question. So obviously you compete with chat companies that use bots or AI bots or bots in general. You know, I'm sure customers have questions, people versus bots. What are the metrics that you can share there, if any?
So I alluded to it a little bit earlier. As we've onboarded clients and we look at what their previous output was based on visitors and unique visitors, we see that the initial lead volume grows by about 36% when you have a human. There's no going through a workflow or a bot. So your initial lead output is going to grow by 36% is what we're seeing. But then your close rate is significantly higher as well. You're going from a below 10% close rate to more 12 to 18% based on various things, right?
Thanks for that. Jason? Sorry, I had to ask that question. So go ahead, Jason.
I love the insights and the details, and let me kind of build a bit upon what Carol was saying. The lens that I have is the consumer wants information, provide them information. Keep it that simple. And as an industry, I think we've overcomplicated. We've created, it's almost like it's a means to an end of we must have automation, we must have AI, we must have specific functionality, but we've missed as an industry in so many instances, what does the consumer want? They're asking a specific question. Give them the answer. And the key that we're seeing is the acceleration of improved process, right? As dealers have cut back staff over the last 2 years in COVID, specifically on the sales side. They've become more efficient, right? They're driving profitability through efficiency and obviously through PVR as well, profit per vehicle retail. The reality is that technology is being used at a higher rate, and where we failed, I think where both myself and Carol and others were talking to, is we failed because we're not getting the consumer what they want. And that's a really exciting piece that we're looking at through technology of using advanced capabilities. AI is a part of it, right? We've been extremely inquisitive. We've incorporated AI capabilities within lead response technologies, within chat technologies to deliver for that consumer what they're asking for. So if they're asking for, I'd like information on third row SUV options within your inventory, or I'd like to schedule a service appointment, or I'd like information on the status of my factory pre-order. Where we fail is lack of information, whether it's a human or a bot or some other source providing that information. And that's what we're working on here moving forward. Some really cool innovative capabilities to align and learn through the technology what the consumer's asking to deliver back to them what they are asking for.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched the video, thanks for that. I haven't watched the video. It was on this morning that I was watching from Yahoo. They were interviewing Gary Vaynerchuk in Cannes, talking about the disconnect between advertising companies and businesses and consumers. And he was saying advertising companies are really good at the past and the future, but they're not so good at the present. I thought that was really interesting. And he was talking about big brands that did it well. It was a very interesting interview. You can look it up on Yahoo Finance. Worth their watch, maybe 5 minutes from some fancy boat, but it was interesting. Joel, what are you thinking? Chat versus don't use chat? What do you think?
Chat versus don't use chat?
Yeah. What percent? Like, do you think people prefer the chat or not chat, or what do you think?
Well, as I said, the consumer, the car shopper on a dealer website, if they find their way clear to go to a dealer website, there's two choices. They can either pick up the telephone, as Carol said, it's who wants to go through the phone tree? It takes forever, and you wind up speaking to the wrong person anyway, and you wind up hanging up the phone. And then there's chat. So I definitely see a reason for chat, and I definitely see the immediacy of the consumer finding out information. But my question is the human element, what we're trying to bring to chat or to dealer websites is the opportunity to actually speak with the service department or meet with the sales department, the used car department, eye to eye, face to face in a video call. So we're trying to bring video call technology into the car sales business, like we've done with Medicare first, like we're doing in the travel business now. We think there's a definite need for the automobile industry to be able to connect their live face-to-face people like we're meeting right now on this vid call through AutoHub show. There's more to get out of the face-to-face than there is out of bot. Yet bot is extremely important, and the information that you give is paramount. So
fantastic.
That's kind of where we are now. We would like to bring chat in. We would like to bring video into chats. There is a way that we can do it very efficiently. Charlie, I think you're doing this now, or you're experimenting with some of the video.
Yes, we do. We have the ability to, and it's a feature that we built through our partnership with Cox. And so specifically, once that process has come into the F&I area, that F&I side, if the consumer or the F&I or whomever's in the store want to go face-to-face, they click a button and then it becomes a video chat. So you still have all of the conversation, all of the history, the transcript, but now it becomes that face-to-face that, at that point in the process, people are more likely to be ready for it. I think earlier in the top of the funnel, earlier in the conversation, they still want that anonymity. But once you've built rapport and built trust, and that's the whole key with having a human, is understanding how to read the consumer based on the pages visited, what they've been looking at, how they ask the question, and then building that trust and that relationship early on is what can lead to digital retailing. I mean, we think of conversations and messaging as the first step of digital retailing. If you don't get the consumer building that desire to do business with you, it really doesn't matter the tools that you have further down, right? So,
yeah.
Thanks for that.
One point to build on what Carol was saying. That same study that I referenced before, we asked those thousands of consumers about video. 41% of consumers said that if video was used in the upfront kind of research phase, that would actually help them decide which dealership to do business with. And think about that, whether it's video, whether it's live one-to-one, or it's a recorded video from a sales representative or a BDC representative following up, or it's information about a vehicle as well. That's a tremendous percent of consumers are seeking out. They use video, they expect it to be able to create an experience. GM did a phenomenal job for their, I'll call it I know it's a bit controversial, but their virtual electric vehicle showroom, where you can actually do a live one-to-one video experience with someone, and they actually show you the vehicle. They do a walk around as if like you were in a showroom, but it was centralized from within the GM organization. It was very well done. It was very simple, and the person that I was talking to, I actually went in and tried it myself. Extremely informative. So agreed very much so on the power and the capabilities of video. Again, it goes back to forget about the channel, right? It's getting the consumer what they want, whether it's through video or chat or email or texting or through some other channel as well.
Thanks for that, Jason.
Just a quick story on that. Our parent company is called Vendnet USA, which I founded back in 1976. Been a long time, which is why the hair is kind of on the gray side. We do a lot of business with Humana, with Aetna and Blue Cross Blue Shield for Medicare. We set up stores in malls where customers can walk in and meet with a Medicare salesperson. We have trucks on the road where we stop at festivals and senior citizens go inside and meet with brokers. When COVID came, that was it. The malls closed, so our stores closed. Our trucks couldn't go in because nobody wanted to go inside. Brokers wouldn't want to go into a person's house, and the senior doesn't want a broker to go into their house. So it was quite a dilemma. So Humana came to us and said, we want to do something like Zoom, but they didn't want to do Zoom because Zoom, you need to set a certain time to speak to someone. You need a password to get in, and you need to make an appointment. So they said, is there any way that you could put together some type of video system where people don't have to make appointments, people don't have to share their identity, and they can just click and meet, because we're dealing with people that are 70, 75, 80 years old. And it took us about 10 months to build the system, but now we have it, and now we're moving into travel, and we want to move it up into automotive. So all a customer does is make one click, either on a chatbot or in a dealer website, or even on a digital ad, or even in social media, they can click and meet with a live person inside the dealership or inside the BDC in seconds. So that's kind of our take on what we're doing and how we're trying to build in all these industries.
Thanks for that. Larry, what's your thought on chat versus people? I mean, I know you have strong opinions. Maybe you have some thoughts. You're muted, by the way.
Excuse me if you hear directions, I'm in the car. I might be showing my age, but I prefer a live person. But there's no question we're all preaching from the same choir, which is it's got to be something that ties in with what people are geared for. And right now they're definitely geared for a video. And I'm sorry if I missed the name. Like I said, I'm trying to navigate my way. The young lady that was the one said they can request anonymity at first. But I got to tell you the truth. I think people are so turned off by phone prompts and things. The thing that's so exciting about Joel's thing is it doesn't force you to go video, but it allows you the immediate option to say, hey, I'd like to speak to someone face to face. And I personally think that's terrific.
Thanks, Larry. And Tim, if everyone doesn't know Tim, he's more of a data guy. Tim, can you back up any data here? I mean, I know you talk to different industries, but go ahead.
Sure. I mean, I think each of you, there's a whole lot of gospel and truth to what you're saying here. Chatbots, the jam with them is they're just like every other software as a service system that was out there. It was brought in and it wasn't integrated with anything else, right? And therefore, that early engagement and that early empathy that we're trying to say video can provide. If you don't have an understanding who that customer is, right? And Carol had a lot of early indicating behavior. What's the last thing they looked at? What's the last thing that they built and priced, right? Whatever it might have been. That's the jam. It's going to be the same jam with video. right? Video, in Larry's point about prompts is if it's service, they're going to go through a standard FAQ or script the way that the chatbot would, unless they have some access to that source of truth. And the good news is, and I have to say this on every show. The good news is that dealers are starting to take data serious, and they're starting to talk about customer data platforms. They're starting to talk about systems integration across the entire enterprise, as it were. And I think all of these things, chatbots and video, could perform remarkably better, and will perform remarkably better once we have that data unification and that personalization at scale across the organization, that possibility, and then we can get into training people.
So, by the way, he did it wrong.
Where is Mary? Where in the world is Mary?
I'm heading Virginia to change Chantilly forever. You referred to Tim as the tech guy. I resent that you didn't refer to me as the tech guy. I want you to know that I was actually able to start my car using a car fob, and I can spell MIT. I think that makes me a tech guy.
So I think everybody's barking in the right. They're barking up the right tree. Everybody's saying, there's a lot of talk. And Jason, I think you said it best. What some people are doing today, what some people are starting to do today. That's what's exciting, and we'll probably lift all these boats.
Thanks, man. Jeff?
I do have to say that something that we seem to be missing are results. And we're looking at numbers, and the numbers are, we're selling tons of cars, we're making lots of money. My favorite line, the owner bought a new boat, things are great. But we're hearing from the end of the customers that there's a lot of hoops being jumped through. And be that they contact somebody, they don't get a call back. And I don't mean to argue with anybody about this, but the beauty about chatbots is they always get back to you. They always respond to you. So, Carol, I'm going to look at you and I'm going to ask you, what are the numbers for chat conversations with customers? However, the numbers meaning, how many customers are actually getting something out of their chat?
What is something?
Exactly.
So, are they getting what?
Information?
Yeah.
Are they achieving something? And I know something's a very weird, it's a very non-specific word.
Yeah.
People that I have in contact with, or dealers or anything, they're finding that people are leaving these initial conversations, and that goes way back. I hate to tell you, till the '80s, when they used to walk into a dealership and they wanted their intent of going in was to find that information, and they left with somebody trying to slam them in.
Yeah, I understand.
Results is some sort.
So I can speak for how we have trained and managed and evaluate our conversations, which is this: you have to create value, and you have to earn the right to that phone number and email address. And so the way that we train and measure and compensate our associates, our customer engagement experts, is, did you build a relationship? So over 95% of the time, people will come in with the question, if it's a sales conversation, they're asking, is it still available? And we can take that and build from that and determine exactly what is their hot button. Is it their trade? Is it a feature? Is it a payment? And we look at our consumer as two. Our dealer, obviously our client is our customer, but their end client is our customer as well. And so we have conversations that build trust in a measured and empathetic way that derives the information that allows the dealers to do the best. I love food, so I love the analogy of we're the host or the hostess in a restaurant. We're going to ask you, do you want to sit inside or outside, under the fan, by the window? We're going to put you there. We're going to get you started, and then we're going to allow the dealer to come in and really take care of that customer and that shopper. So are people getting something out of it? I think absolutely so, because over 80%, around 80% of the conversations, the opportunities that we get, we will earn an email, a phone number, whatever that is. From a service perspective, we know that the service conversations where we're helping someone set an appointment are 30% more likely to show than if the consumer went through that process themselves. So most dealers have a service scheduler on their site. The interaction that, oh, I talked to someone, I talked to Bob and told Bob I'd be in at 10 on Tuesday, that has a greater show rate, and we build a repair order, the RO, because our agents, to your point, what do we see to Tim's point? We're able to see what were declining services in the past. So again, the idea of a real person who can say, oh, Mrs. Jones, I see you declined this on your last visit. Would you like us to go ahead and add that in this time? That's also building value for both clients. So yeah, absolutely, they get something out of the conversation.
Perfect. Well, that's a very good viewpoint out of it, and I do apologize for throwing something because
That's okay.
Our industry is so full of vagueness that we love to do these things, and we have stories of everybody from either side. A service advisor doesn't get something out of the call with the customer because they did not sell them. And the customer doesn't get something out of the call because they didn't get an answer, or whatever that is. So it's a very interesting, and it's a tough one. I mean, Anthony did super well, so thank you very much. Wendy actually raised her hand, so I really have to ignore her because I'm going to go. I'm just kidding. Wendy, you wanted to make a point.
Well, forgive me, I don't know if this is allowed, if I can be interactive, or if you have a plan to.
Yeah, because well, get your right.
Okay, goodbye. Good morning, beautiful people. I'm really thrilled to have you here, Carol and Jason, and also Anthony Patron. That as soon as I heard subject matter, I had to get him on as well. He's with Chatbot, and you are distinctly different products. However, the synergy between you guys and Vidcalls is incredible. But all that aside, what I want to offer for feedback on Carol's valuable ads, great content, you guys, and Jason. You've got a wonderful product that I've used probably since your company opened, because my first BDC was an auto in Milwaukee in 2007. And back then, talking about video, David came, my earliest mentor was probably Greg Gold, and David came together, and Greg Goble started me in my journey when he heard me doing my app calls as a salesperson, and he told my GM, that's your call center manager. And the next day, our Auto Calls BDC was born. That said, we use call service, we use Active Engage, and I loved it the way you could send it from one IP address to another. You could black out the salespeople. The reason we started the BDC is because we had, what do we have, call waiting or call review, something or other. Who's calling back then? I'm just stop. So the point is, 200 out of 600 phone-ups got into the CRM. David King's been telling the value of videos since he suggested these little things in 07. Anyway, fast forward to the current situation. Customers, yes, you have to earn, they love anonymity, that's why they like chats. And you have to earn the right to get their email address. Same as squeeze page on a dealer website. You have to earn the right, if they give you a bogus phone number or whatever, to show value and get the phone number, and then you're part of their trusted people, and when they buy, et cetera, people that like trust, you know the spiel. So the idea of being able to have the option, and I disagree with the fact that people don't necessarily want to show their faces, Carolyn, I think you'll find this, but I'm glad you have data to support what you're doing so far. I think that it depends upon the circumstance. I believe if you have, for those service people especially, the sales part value is evident and it's obvious, right? So the other part with service is that people are so tired of the drop rate on calls. They're simply trying to check on the status of their vehicle. No one answers the phone. No one calls them back, et cetera, et cetera. They get so frustrated.
over and above whatever they're feeling because of the situation with their vehicles. So the idea of having a human being that says, "Hi, Sally Mae. Oh, you're looking to check on the status of your vehicle?" Well, not me, of course, a 20 or 30-year-old or, whatever, but, yes, let me check that for you. In the meantime, well, what a great day it is, and then be empathetic and say something that they're, whatever. And boom, you've got a new way that you can communicate with your customers and improve the customer experience. And Vidcalls is cutting edge, so you're going to be soaring above the rest. I had a lot more points, but for the sake of this is not my show, I'm going to be done. But those are just a few things that I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy.
Hey, Wendy, it's Larry. You said the magic word, the one thing a chatbot can't do, and that's empathize.
Precisely.
Right.
Yeah.
But understand and listen and hear.
Thank you. So, Joel, I've been told I have a face for radio. You wanted to develop this because you felt there was a need for actual video chats versus chatbots versus whatever. But what do you think the numbers are? And I know you're not a car guy, but what do you think the numbers are for chat conversations, conversions with customers?
On video chat conversations or chat conversations?
Just normal chat, video chat, anything in your experience.
Well, on chat conversations, I would revert to Carol and Jason. I mean, they're the professionals in that. I haven't had that experience on the chat side. On video side, I can tell you from our Medicare program, it was almost 60% of the consumers that called into our vid call for Medicare salespeople, met the salespeople, gave them their personal information because the average time of a call was almost 40 minutes. So we covered a lot more territory than that. I'm not quite sure on automobile yet. Travel, we expect it to be around 25 minutes. So that's the kind of statistics that we're getting at this point.
Well, yeah, and that's a very good point. I mean, there is a definite need, and the beauty is you have experience from other fields. And I mean, one thing that we're very known for in the automotive world is we go, yes, we know cars. But so, Jason, what are you guys experiencing is our actual conversations and conversions of those conversations into something more than a conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the key is ongoing communication. We know that consumers hit up 20 plus sources when they're researching a vehicle. We know that they're all over the place, right? Partly because they're desperate to find a vehicle, especially in today's market. The data that we have found, which is extremely important, is it's not just about that one-time initial inquiry. Hi, I'm really struggling. I'm trying to find a third row SUV. Can you help me? Right? And information is provided instantaneously from there. As an industry, it's not just about saying, sure, I've got 4 Acura MDXs that are in our lot, 3 are CPO, 1 is new, come on down and let's get your information and let's go. It's about the ongoing communication with that consumer, because we know they're seeking information from multiple sources. We know that it's critical that as a dealer, you're able to leverage your data. I think somebody made a comment about this concept of CDXP, and really understanding what data is in your system as a dealer and leverage that information to then create the ongoing conversation with the customer. So as they're researching, you as a dealer are differentiating yourselves. You're thinking about not just day 0 when they put the inquiry in, but day 1 or 5 or 10 or 15 to continue the chat or the text or the email or the conversation to then be able to provide alternative vehicles, to provide information, relevant information based upon what you know about that consumer. That for us is we see the highest transaction when a dealer looks at things universally as opposed to just myopically, just about the chat tool on the website. Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Wendy made a comment about finding out what the customer wants. But I do have to say one pet peeve of mine is you go onto a dealer's website, and I do it a lot, not not for one of this great little, mystery shops or anything like that. I just do it to see about their car because I'm trying to buy it on the auction. And that darn, I'm being polite, that stupid box keeps floating around the screen with that smiling person who it isn't the person. And that personally drives me a little bit nuts. But that's just my little rant for the morning.
Yeah, we're looking at different things. Obviously, I know Active Engage has partnered with Cox for F&I. My question, I guess, for Carol there is, why start with F&I? I'm just curious.
We actually partner with Cox across all of their businesses. So
Okay.
we handle messaging on AutoTrader, Kelly Blue Book. We have integration with Xtime for service scheduling. The video, the way that we designed that video call was at Cox's request to go with Accelerate My Deal, because we also integrated that DR tool. So while we already handle and are integrated messaging partner with Accelerate My Deal, now we have that video feature there as well. Will that video feature be expanded throughout the system? Very likely so. We just haven't taken that step yet. I feel like I've been hit a couple times by Sugar Ray on the whole video thing. I'm not down on video. I'm just stating where we have it today. I should just get better about saying, hey, yeah, it's all there. But I can see that expanding. We integrate with several different DR tools, and that just happened to be the one that first requested that. So,
And
a great partner, yeah.
And how long have you been doing video? I'm just curious. Is there any preliminary data? Can you share anything?
That feature went live several months ago, but I have not been looking at that data, to be fair.
Okay. And that was really the only question. I just wasn't sure there. And I know there'd been a release. I just figured since I had you on the call, I'd ask the question.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No worries. Jason.
The F&I piece is extremely, listen, we all know the profit centers that F&I yield for dealers, and the confusion that the consumers have around F&I. I think video is a phenomenal way, and we think about video, it doesn't have to be live, right? We have a video capability that is tremendous, where a dealer can create a library of videos and send out via communications, or they could do a custom specific one-to-one for a consumer as a follow-up. It's relevant, right? It's timely, providing the information. We keep on going back to this word of empathy, right? Empathy is a lost art in many industries, and in automotive, it's so important. So yeah, the video and F&I think is a tremendous opportunity. If dealers aren't using it, they should absolutely be looking through it. Obviously, it's something that we think about as a tremendous opportunity for improvement for dealers.
Thanks for that, Jason.
For a number of years, we've had the same kind of ability to send out a video, the why-buy from us, a differentiation kind of video. It's within the system. If the dealer wants it there. Something I've been thinking more and more is, as we see this increase in electric vehicles and that coming, I like to drive an internal combustion engine. I like the sound of the engine. I like driving. I like the feel of the road. I enjoy all of that. But in generations to come, as there's less of us that feel that way, possibly, I think this idea of doing the process all online becomes more of a reality, because they don't really care to come in and drive the vehicle, smell the vehicle, whatever that is, see where the mirrors are, because you have all this other technology kind of filling in the gaps. And so I think I would give that heads up to dealers that as we're watching this movement more and more into electric vehicles, it does kind of take away the requirement to come in and do a test drive. The drive becomes less important. So now is the time to, whatever tools you choose, as Jason mentioned early on, have the right process supporting it, and have the right mentality of the dealership supporting that online consumer.
Thanks for that. Joel, you had a thought there? Sorry. I think Joel had a thought there, Jeff. Joel had a thought.
I was just going to say that we can be we can white label and go into chatbots and offer the video capabilities into any chatbots. It doesn't really matter. It's just a question of clicking on the chat and meeting with a live person. So you could really start the chat off with your bots, with your live personnel, and then just ask the question to the consumer: would you like to meet with someone from service now? Would you like to meet if there are questions for service, if it's for sale, for used cars? The Vidcalls can be routed to any department, within seconds. That's the beautiful thing about technology. So,
thanks a lot, Jeff. We are running out of time, so I know there was a bonus question. Maybe you wanted to do that, or you want final comments. I'll leave it up to you.
Well, you know what, though? I think, we're running out of time. Rather than put a question out, I think we have to take a look at something, my opinion. And Carol, I was going to say to you, I'm an ICE guy too. I like it. I like the sound, etc. But I do have to tell you from experience, all EVs aren't the same. They are, we know that, but you're getting in them, and the ones I've driven, the ones I've ridden in, we've all ridden in a Tesla from an Uber, and I'm sorry for your fans and, our good friend in the EV side of things, but I'm not a fan. However, in Vegas, I rode in a Mach-E cab, and it was phenomenal. We've definitely got the experience driving a Lucid, and frankly, it was exhilarating. So we do have to put that back into it, but I'm scared that we are probably 10 years away from a whole series of white cars, and I don't mean that let's go bland cars. Yeah. Friend takes offense to the term, but bland car, because it'll come up, it'll look like that stupid concept Volkswagen Beetle EV that they want to come out with. It just got weird headlights. You get in, it takes you somewhere, and the excitement of a car goes out the window. But I do think the whole process has to be there, and I'm learning something from everybody. And there was a question here coming here somewhere. This sounds like a court drama. Mr. Polo, do you have a question there, or should I say? Hang on, yes, Judge. It seems that, tell me something, does this whole topic have an integration possibility? Joel just mentioned it, like you're in the middle of your chat, up pops, would you like to speak to somebody right now? Click here. Can this all be something that doesn't happen in the car business or the world, where we're all going to play nice together? So Carol, you're looking right at me, I'll answer you.
No, I think absolutely. I would never say there's, yeah. Pardon me?
Nah, I tripped on my tongue, go ahead.
I wouldn't limit where we can go. And I think that, especially on the service page, the video call could become very, very instrumental. I think from a self-managed for dealers who really are going in that direction. Of course, it's going to depend on your demographics, where you are, what your dealership. I think it could be huge for certain parts of the country today, and then moving into the future. Yeah, absolutely. I think that makes sense.
I appreciate that, Jason.
Yeah, this concept of the connected vehicle, the connected car. I was at the J.D. Power New York Auto Forum in April. Listen, the data avail to enable the manufacturers to be smarter. Ideally, to take that data downstream to enable the dealers to be better communicators and to be more engaging with consumers, and to provide a richness of an experience to that consumer. I very much feel, as long as an industry we're focused on the consumer experience, why would a consumer care? What's the value? And I think we'll continue to see, like you just used chat as an example, chat, a little pop-up in the car. Consumers have proven time and time again, they'll engage with businesses as long as there's value for them, right? Remember the day that no one ever put their social security number online or their email because they were afraid that, people would not provide that. The reality is majority of consumers will happily give information, credit information, credit card information, social security number information, whatnot, in a secure form, as long as there's value back. And I think as an industry, as we think about that downstream, we ask a consumer to engage to provide information, whether it's a bot or a human or whatnot, we'll all benefit, right? Everyone will be able to enjoy the value of that data share.
Perfect. That's a very good point. And something popped up in my mind too while we're all talking. When we were down at the show last week, the first day we came across this company setting up, and they had a Sheldon Cooper robot from the show, but literally it was their CEO was sitting somewhere, and we never got back to them for whatever reason because they couldn't talk to us until they were set up. But I picture an experience of walking into a dealership and this robot coming up saying to you, everybody's busy, let me help you, tell me what you need to do. Then you got a chatbot, then it can go to a live person somewhere, because frankly, everybody's busy, and right now, stores are understaffed, there's too many customers, top world. And then finally somebody gets free, they can do it, or they can video with somebody there. Watch for the full connected or big display at the next show. Just kidding. Joel, I'll put you to the final thought here.
I just think that from what I'm gathering in the conversation, I think there's definitely a way that Vidcalls can be united with chat on a white label process where your customers, if they're asked, would you like to meet with a live representative in service? Would you like to meet with a live representative in sales, in new car sales, used car sales? We can do that. That availability is here now. We've done it with other clients in other industries. So yeah, we look forward to sharing it together. We're not looking to do chat. Oh, by the way, in our video calls, the customer has the right. We tell them they don't have to be on camera as long as they can see the sales representative. They have the right to turn their camera off or on. It doesn't matter as long as they're getting that information. And then lastly, to make it professional, because we have a lot of our clients where their salespeople work from home. We do everything on green screens. So even if the salesperson's in home or in the dealership, it looks very, very professional. So just like yours does, Carol, with your one green screen.
Love the bees, by the way.
I have the best graphics guy anywhere.
That's very cool. First, I thought they were volleyballs. I thought you were going to do it. Anyway, I enjoyed this, and thank you for the opportunity of meeting everyone. That was big.
Thanks very much. Have a great week. And of course, if we can help, just reach out. Stay tuned for more content and audio and video from NIADA. And of course, if you have a chat, question, or comment, just reach out. Happy to share more details. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
I'm ready. Hey, Fred. Goodbye, all.
Hold on. What?
Thanks for joining us. It was a great show, and follow us anywhere you would like on your favorite podcast, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and of course on our YouTube, or subscribe to our own channel.